Honestly, I really love the setup, very smooth setup, and it was really fun chatting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure, really. I really had a nice time.
Thank you.
I'm happy to be your friend, and I'm happy that you taking me as a friend as well.
And the equation is happiness equals reality minus expectation.
Interesting.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I had such a pleasure and fun. You actually made me laugh, remembering all the crazy things I did.
I loved it, and really, I'm so glad that I really came.
10 episodes from now, I should look thinner, right?
One episode after 10
Inshallah.
episodes. So you
Nice, it was nice. It was a great session.
I loved it as well. I had a lot of fun.
You do not know how cool this place is.
Hello and welcome to our show.
Welcome to our podcast, brother. Hey everybody, welcome to my podcast. Welcome to my show. Welcome to my podcast. Hey everybody, welcome to yet another episode. Hello everybody, and welcome to Brew With Abdu. Brew With Abdu. Brew With Abdu.
Hafsar.
Asif Juicer. My best buddy, Husain Dungra. Amir, Mr. Muhammad. Hello, Alifia. Mr. Ahmed. Husain Bhai.
Mansoor al-Mansoor.
orange last. One shot and the orange is now juice. And that too all
It's not coffee, it's some shit coffee.
Oh, you never know, Husain. Tomorrow this is going to be a gym area.
I want to. Because सुवर्ण बच्चा ही मेज थी.
Life is interesting. It can knock you down, and there's always a way to get up.
Hafsar. He's the Guinness Book of World Record of the youngest T20 player. I mean, the national defense team. I played national defense team when I was 14 years old. Are you serious? It's very serious.
So let's wrap this episode. I had so much fun learning about you, your stories, your experiences, and I hope you enjoyed this session as well. Hello everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Brew With Abdu. This is a small milestone for Brew With Abdu and the team. This is the 10th episode, and as always, the number 5, 10, 15, all these numbers are my favorite. So here's a small milestone, and what better way to start the podcast with our special guest, Miss Eve. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Abdu, very much, and congratulations on your milestone.
Thank you.
Many more in the future.
Thank you so much. So to everyone, I don't know, there are a lot of people who don't know you in our community and elsewhere. Miss Eve is a CEO and founder of TRRN. It's a social media agency. She's a brand builder, a marketing guru, and she's worked with gigantic brands like Red Bull. So here you are, and here I am. How are you doing today?
I am fantastic. How are you doing?
All great, all great. So in short, what do you do?
What do? I transform people's lives.
Nice.
That is what I do.
Nice way to put it.
Yes. So what I do is I am extremely passionate about creating radical actions that changes the projection of a brand to the better. Okay. Something that helps the brand achieve long-term success, achieve a brand identity that is unique to them, that speaks to their audience, right. And essentially build very unique brands. That's basically what I do. Nice.
So is this your passion that you have taken up as a full-time career?
Yes, it is my passion. I am absolutely in love with doing this. And the reason why I'm certain about this is because throughout my life, I've been in careers such as Red Bull. So this is where I kickstarted my career, right?
Nice.
And I remember when I used to work with Red Bull, I used to wake up every day filled with joy going to work. And there were days where we used to work all day, consecutive days. And even though it was filled with tired nights, sleepless nights, I still would wake up and do my work with joy. As opposed to when I worked in different arenas later on in life, I realized that I would have brief, short-term joy, and then I would be left questioning what is going on. Why am I not feeling that happiness, that excitement? What is the issue? You know, and then it would connect to, for example, a raise, and I'd get a raise, and I'd celebrate that for a while, and then months pass by, and I'm like, okay, again, I'm unsatisfied.
Right.
So I got to a point right now in my career where I can also connect it to my career with Red Bull, which is I am filled with joy.
Nice.
So I do what I love. I work with people that I love. I have an amazing team that I love and I'm very grateful for. And so.
But not better than my team.
They're amazing. I'm great. I'm glad we both have two amazing teams.
No, truly. I mean, so the brand building side, you started from Red Bull. How did that shape your career moving forward? Because most of us, we start with small companies, you know, working to our way up top. But you started from up top. How's that feeling?
Oh my God, I always say this. I am so grateful to have started my career with Red Bull. But it really, how can I say this? It really set the standard.
Right.
It really set the standard. It set the standard in expectations of professionalism from all parties, all stakeholders involved. It set the standard to what a worldwide brand, would look like. And it just really set the standard of the kind of culture I would love to create in my own business now in life. So Red Bull really, it's a worldwide brand. It's achieved so much success. It's withstood the time and time again, right? So with Red Bull, I learned what a brand is really, how is it really created? And a brand is formulated from little details, which a lot of people look at as petty.
Okay.
But those little details, when combined together, formulate an unshakable foundation that emits powerful energies when it's posted or when it's published. So it's those little details that people at Red Bull did not overlook is what helped them achieve this compound effect of the giant Red Bull. So this was one of the things that I learned from Red Bull when it comes to a brand.
That's amazing. So where was this Red Bull office situated in?
Lebanon.
Lebanon,
Yes.
okay. So it was the local Lebanese Red Bull company, right? It was for the national business.
I'm sorry, what?
Were you handling international brand building or national brand building?
I wasn't handling international brand building.
Okay.
In Red Bull, I was working with the consumer collecting department.
Okay.
So we were collecting consumers' data.
Okay.
So, and I also worked with the sales department. So I worked with two different departments in Red Bull. And we also worked on the digital front. So I worked in 3 different departments in Red Bull. And essentially, with Red Bull as an international brand, everything that we receive must be obviously sent to us by the international headquarters, which is based in Austria.
Okay.
And then it comes to Lebanon, and alongside our agency at the time, which was Burnouts, we would localize the campaigns, and then in-house we would work on the activations of the events and the brands that we would work with. But that obviously was with the team and with my managers at the time. So yeah.
So how did you move from having such an amazing job to having your own business and running your own agency? How did that happen?
Wow, 8 years happened.
8 years.
Yeah, I mean, Red Bull was in 2012 till 2016.
Okay.
So after Red Bull, I joined an international agency, the McCain World Group, in Kuwait.
Yeah.
And then after that, I joined an e-commerce, luxury e-commerce platform that was based in Kuwait and New York.
Okay.
And then after that, I joined a local agency here in Kuwait, and I was their country manager for Qatar as well. What brought me to this point cannot be summed in a sentence. Wow. I need to think about it because it's a very difficult question. It can't be broadly or generically answered.
But if something would have ticked you from having a job, having a 9-to-5 job, to being an entrepreneur yourself, what would that one thing be?
I think if I were to look back at my life, I've always been extremely ambitious and driven.
Okay.
So I grew up with my father, may he rest in peace, was an entrepreneur and a business owner himself.
Okay.
And I'm very impacted by my father. So I am my father's daughter in a sense. So I've always been super ambitious. I've always been super driven. I've always had big dreams I wanted to achieve. How I had no idea. But with life's journey, with experience, I think I just got to a point in my life where I just felt like I needed to do this. I think to me it was more so a leap of faith. I didn't know what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I didn't. Like the story of me starting my agency, I need to share this because I don't think a lot of people know this. But I was working with an agency. So I was working with an agency right before I started my agency. And as I said, I was their country manager for Qatar. So I was meant to relocate to Qatar.
Okay.
A month before I relocated, when they called me, Qatar's office called me and they told me your visa got issued and it's time to pack your bag and get ready and head to our base. I freaked out.
Okay.
I freaked out. I didn't know why at the time. I just knew that it was something in me that I had to act upon, and I didn't know how. So I was just in a very panic state of mind. And I remember I called a good friend of mine in Dubai at the time, and I told him, "Hey, I need help. I don't know what to do. I don't think I want to go to Qatar. I think I want to move to Dubai. What do I do?" He goes like, "Hold up. I can't help you. Like, this is a life-altering decision, Like, I'm not going to play any role in this. But what I'm going to do is, if you want, I can share your contacts with my friend. She is a life coach, soon to graduate from life coaching. And she needs help with social media. So perhaps you can connect and see how you both can help one another."
Right.
And at the time, I was so pissed. I was pissed because I'm like life coaching, like that was his like answer to me, and I didn't believe in life coaches at the time.
Okay.
Like to me, I was like the biggest skeptic, and I had the biggest fixed mindset.
Okay.
So I was super skeptic, like, oh my God, like what's this life coach going to do? I'm gonna life coach her. I life coach my friends, all that yada, 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 yada talk, like that ego was talking.
Right.
So my ego was like all up in flames, and I'm like, let's do it. We scheduled a call, we got on a call. On the call, I was skeptical the entire time, and she was so nice. She was so sweet, I'm like, I didn't get it.
Why aren't you worked up? You were like, please be mad at me.
Yeah, be mad at me, be defensive, act out.
Right.
Like that's what my ego wanted.
Yeah.
But she didn't. She listened. And at some parts during that call, I just calmed down and I started talking and I just was blabbing. And it took us a month for me to, at one point it got to the point where it's Eve, would you choose Qatar and just go ahead with that path, or would you choose to quit it all and with no savings at all?
That's dangerous.
No savings at all. Start something new with no financial security. And I needed it. I really needed that financial security at the time. So should I go for the safety net or should I go for what scares me the most? And having that fixed mindset that I had at the time, it was so hard to convince my rational mind to quit that safety net and jump into the unknown.
Right.
But with time, and after 4 coaching sessions, we had like weekly coaching sessions, I did it. I came to the decision to have that challenging conversation with my time at the boss, with my boss at the time, whom I dearly respected and admired. And it was a very difficult conversation. That was another thing I needed to learn to do, because it's not easy to have those difficult conversations. And I made that decision, and I took my leap of faith, and there was just something in me that was like, I just needed to do this, and I couldn't see it. I couldn't see the next 15 steps. I took a risk.
Nice.
I took a risk, but it came with a lot of guts, and it came with a lot of I really love what I'm doing, and it also came with big risks. So I also hired my own personal brand development coach at the time. That was backpacking in South America. Her name is Marina. So I want to just shout out to Marina, Vivaciously Marina. That's her name on Instagram. And also to my life coach, Angie, who, by the way, became my life coach for the next year after.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's a commitment.
Yeah, I fell in love with life coaching, and then I did different coaching along the line. But just to circle back to that point, which is I just took a bet on myself.
Right.
And I'm glad I did.
Of course. Would you think that now that if you look back at your story, do you think that ambition and that drive that took you here, is that the number one thing that an entrepreneur should have in order to take a leap of faith on him or herself and get into the entrepreneurship ocean, you can say?
I would like to add one more thing to that, which is naivete, the naiveness. I was extremely naive. If I knew what I was getting myself into with entrepreneurship, I don't think I would have done it.
Right.
I don't regret it, but I laugh because people think they quit their 9 to 5 to become entrepreneurs and digital nomads, and you get to like live the life and do and work when you want to work and do what you want to do. But guess what? That's not the case. You're gonna have to work sometimes longer hours.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to sacrifice a lot of things.
True.
And you're going to have to deal with the uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So the idea and the notion of 9 to 5, leaving it to pursuing entrepreneurship is something chill or cool or fun is a big misconception. So I always say this, naivete is very important. Your naiveness is very important because it also puts you in that new unexperienced box, which in the grand scheme of things, when you become an expert at something, you end up choosing 1, 2, 3 paths. That's it.
Right.
You know, you're like, okay, we're either gonna do 1, 2, or 3.
Correct.
But when you are not that experienced or an expert at anything, you see a wide pool of solutions that can be there. So this is something I actually teach my clients who join me on the one-on-one personal brand development program. So in week 1, I bring my life coach, Angie, to give them a workshop.
Nice.
And we give a workshop on becoming the unshakable entrepreneur. And part of it is acknowledging the sacrifices that you need to make, building that growth mindset, facing those limiting beliefs that you have and rewiring them into having alternative growth mindset beliefs,
Right.
along with many other things. But definitely, you will have things that you will sacrifice, and you need to be very clear on them. And limiting mindset, to work on that. We work on that together. And the third thing I would say is find things to create fulfillment. What do I mean by that? So when you start any kind of brand or business, as a business owner, you're gonna have to work a lot at the very beginning. You're gonna have to put a lot of your time and your energy and your effort into your baby. So when that happens, you also need to give back to yourself. So also remind yourself to give back to yourself, whether it's in sleep or in little short-term ways to satisfy yourself or long-term ways.
Yeah.
So this is something I would advise everybody who wants to start this journey.
Look, something I took from you right now is I kind of recollect my memories of how I started a company back in 2014. I was naive, but thankfully I had some kind of security behind me. I started my company in 2014. It was a tech startup in India. We were building an app for fashion, fashion brands and everything in India, and we worked for like 18 months on that, But something that you say right now really recollects my memories. I would think that entrepreneurship was like a fashion. It was really cool. It was trendy. Everybody was doing it, so I wanted to do it. So while building the company, I was having a lot of cool moments, during that time. But it didn't pay off because I was not into that company for something that I love. It was something that was just cool at the time. So it didn't pay off, and I had to shut the company. But thankfully, I had a backup because my dad had built a company. It was really running. So I had taken that leap of faith that no matter what happens, I can always come back to this. So and back 5 years, 6 years, I was just back in my dad's company. I was working with him. And in 2018 ending, I started this, we call this Azali Media. We do photography, videography, shoots, everything. Yeah, back then I started this again with, like you said, naivete. I didn't know what would happen, but it paid off. Yeah, I can say today it paid off. Yeah.
I love that you tried that. I think a lot of people get scared from trying. If they fail once, they don't want to try again.
True.
So hats off to you for trying.
Thank you so much.
This is something that everyone should have. You should have that expectation that it can fail, but you need to build yourself up again and look back at that journey and see what you could have learned from it.
Exactly.
And to just add on to that story of yours, it sparked a thought in my mind. A word actually came to my mind: intention. It's your intention is very important.
True.
So if your intention is in the wrong place, then it's going to result in disasters.
True.
So your intention was, it's cool, I want to do it, I want to try this, but that isn't the intention of someone that's building something long term.
True.
And I always say also this intention is connected to your why. So if you go back to your place tonight and you list down to why you're doing what you're doing, I'm sure your list is going to be endless. And this is why you're continuous with the second company that you started.
Yes.
So your why is really important. Again,
Definitely.
Your why needs to be something bigger than monetary purposes.
Absolutely.
And I always say
absolutely.
that. So,
I mean, even these guys are really important to me.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
They are. They're included in that why.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Honestly, if it isn't for a team, it takes, I always say this, it takes a village, to build remarkable results. It's not one person.
Agreed.
If it wasn't for every single person here doing what they're doing, no one would be here today.
Definitely.
If it wasn't for Husain reaching out to me, I wouldn't have been here today. If it wasn't for Taher here making sure everything is going smoothly and then editing post-production, none of this conversation would be rippling out to people in the near future.
Yeah.
So
And
even
all
other
the
Hussein,
all the
yeah.
beautiful things that you see is that guy.
Yeah, like Hussein, exactly. So I was gonna say, like, honestly, it is everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. It takes a village. It's like when people see the remarkable result, just know that whatever was behind it was a force.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, it was a great story. Learned a lot of things and recollected a lot of things as well. Now let's move on to some things, some technicalities in your career, right? So I want to touch a few things about personal brand. I want to touch about entrepreneurship, as we spoke, and we want to have kind of a debate between 9-to-5 employee versus an entrepreneur. So let's begin that. I want you to define what a personal brand is, because a lot of people don't know this. There are a lot of home business owners or small business owners. They don't really value themselves being the brand, the face of their own company. So can you touch on that?
Okay. So let's start with there's a personal brand and then there's a business brand.
Okay.
Okay. A business brand has a product or service, and it's a full organization that is pushing that product or service.
Right.
There isn't one specific person that is the face or the representative
Correct.
of that brand.
Yeah.
Granted, later on, they can land or collaborate or sign with brand ambassadors, brand influencers, create a brand mascot.
Yeah.
But that's a business brand. So it's just a business with a product or service. A personal brand, on the other hand, is a person.
Right.
A person behind that brand. A person that sells a product or a service.
Yeah.
But that person is the brand.
Correct.
That person is the face of the brand. Granted that there are a lot of personal brands that don't necessarily have a face. So I've also worked with faceless personal brands, which are also doable. Yeah, it's also doable. But the idea of a personal brand, in essence, is a person representing their brand to the public.
Okay.
And they are the face of the brand. There's no, there's full, their full identity is reflected in full force in this brand.
Right.
So this is, in a nutshell, what a personal brand and a business brand is.
Okay. So how does one build their own personal brand? This question comes up a lot of times. I have a lot of my friends and family members as well. My wife is a home business owner, and she tries her best to do that. So how do you build a personal brand?
How do you build a personal brand or a business brand?
Personal brand. Difficult question.
A lot of work goes into building it, like I feel like the thing is with me, I'm not satisfied with fluffy answers.
Okay.
So this is why I'm struggling to answer you right now.
I understand.
A personal brand is just being yourself. Is being who you are.
Yeah.
It's not putting on any mask, because the mask can easily fall off.
Mm-hmm.
Unless if you are, for example, like Paris Hilton. No, it's people find it fine. I think she's a genius.
Okay.
I think she is a genius. Okay, let's talk about Paris Hilton. So Paris Hilton recently, in her recent book, in her recent interviews, has been talking more about her personal experience, her heartbreaking story with her school, her boarding school at the time and whatnot. But before that, we've all gotten used to a certain image, which she still continues to share with us to today.
True.
And that's, for example, a mask that you can put on.
Okay.
Because if you see like the cooking shows that she does and whatnot, like she creates this identity, this character of someone that's naive and silly, and she's so good. She's a genius. And why I say she's a genius is because she's been around for over 20 years. And when we are in this era right now, with so many people, saturating social media and the online arena, and someone is still standing strong.
Yeah.
There's something more about it. And don't come. I don't want people to come at me with, she has money. A lot of people have money. Not a lot of people can make it this long.
Yeah.
So money is not.
She's
is
still
not there.
relevant, yeah.
Yeah, she still finds ways. Granted, she has a great team that can help her and whatnot. But this is, for example, someone that can keep up a mask. But my personal preference is authenticity. And it's being yourself as a personal brand. Because the more that you are yourself, the longer you can hold to that truth. You won't have to create that truth. You won't have to create false avatars to who you are. You're just who you are, and at the end of the day, whoever is attracted to your energy will come closer. And whoever is repelled by your energy will move further away. And at the end of the day, this is what you want as a business owner. You want the people that you align with to come closer to you, and the people that you don't align with to move further away from you.
True. All right. So why do you think it is important to build a personal brand in this age, in this era?
Because they're more successful.
Okay. Explain.
I mean, look at all the business brands hiring all of these influencers. Personal brands are much more successful because they resonate more with people.
Okay.
It's more real. So nowadays, if someone gets a model or something to like create some sort of an ad, it's very staged.
Yeah.
And people don't like that anymore. People don't like that anymore because that gap between a polished and finishing and reality is closed.
Yeah.
Because nowadays with TikTok, with Snapchat, with Instagram, with someone being able, you see billions of materials of content being published every single day on all of these platforms. So people are so close to reality. People are so close to other people's truths. And people crave that truth. It's just innate within humans. You know, us sapiens, we're curious. We're curious. What is this person doing? What is that person doing? How did they get that done? How did they get that result? Oh my God, they failed. Oh my God, she got married. Oh my God, I got pregnant. You know, like everyone. So it's that curiosity that connects people. And what better than an actual person sharing their story, their life, their social media. You know?
Yeah.
So that being said, personal brands are the next big thing in this area, which is why UGC, user-generated content, is performing really well.
True.
So the more collaborations you have with other people, the more collaborations you have with influencers relevant to your field or relevant to your brand, the more collaborations you have with ambassadors that represent your brand. Granted, ambassadors do it for a longer period of time. There's more exclusivity. So there's a difference in influencers and ambassadors for those that don't know. So all of these are things that a lot of brands are leveraging on.
Right.
Because of its success, because of its raw truth and credibility.
Yeah, the authenticity really entices people, and people also love drama. So all of this creates a lot of drama on Instagram and TikTok as well.
Yes.
So entrepreneurs who are starting today in this age, do you suggest them to move in the direction of a business brand or a personal brand?
To move in the direction of their heart.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. If they love something, and I will stand by it. There are a lot of people that say, you don't need passion. You don't need passion. Just wear that armor and go do your thing and na 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 na. I'm sorry. I don't.
Is that Morgan Freeman?
No.
You sound like that.
Did I? It's not. No. I'm just trying to sound pretentious.
I get that.
Yes, so basically, you need to be very passionate. The other route you can take is if you're really brilliant at something.
Okay.
You don't need to be passionate there. but you're brilliant at it. You know you're incredible at it. Unstoppable. You know you can do it with both your eyes closed and with a billion voices around you, you will still get it done. So it's either that you're really passionate about something, or you're incredibly brilliant at it. So these are the two ways I would invite people who are thinking of becoming entrepreneurs to think about. Step one, what is something that you're willing to do every single day of your life? And why? And your whys need to fill at least 2 pages.
Damn.
Sit down and write. And that doesn't include monetary wins.
Okay. What else is there?
What else is there? You're doing it for so many reasons. I'll give you some of my whys.
Please.
Some of my whys is I'm doing it because I want people I'm working with to wake up to the success of what an authentic brand can bring to them. I am so sick of people copy-pasting ideas. You know, I'm doing this because I want to give back to the community. And when I say I give back, one of my long-term goals is to become a philanthropist.
Nice.
Yes, so to me, it's very important to give back to less fortunate communities. I am very aware that I'm very privileged. I'm very aware that I live in luxury, and when I grow, the more I can give back and help people and support communities, create for them opportunities to either join TRRN or create for them some sort of roads so they can pave their way, create what they want to do, just create opportunities for them. And I have to say, I'm very inspired by Oprah.
Really?
I'm very, very, very inspired by Oprah. I remember when I was very young, I used to watch Oprah religiously.
Okay.
I remember I was 6, 7, all the way. I was just, I remember, by the way, I never liked cartoon.
Okay.
And whenever I would say this to people, are you normal? I'm not sure. Is any of us normal? I don't know.
Not me.
You know, I'm not normal and I'm okay, you know? I'm okay with it. But
So you replaced cartoons with Oprah?
And Days of Our Lives.
Okay.
So that was my upbringing. Oh, and CSI.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And horror movies. Now I don't watch them. I know their impact on my brain. But when I was younger, I used to. Yes. So your why is very important.
Right.
Yeah. It goes back to intention, your why, and one day maybe I'll share I think I have it on my Instagram actually. I've shared a snippet of me and my personal brand development coach Marina, and one of our sessions, and I showcased the list that I had to why I was doing what I was doing.
That's nice.
So that's just a snippet of why I'm doing what I'm doing, and even if you look at which is purpose essentially, but if you look at the purpose of big brands, Nike, Dove, Tesla, not in one of them is their product part of their purpose. Their purpose is much bigger than that. So I would invite those who don't know to Google some and check it out. But yeah, your purpose is something that needs to be bigger and larger than life, and definitely bigger than monetary purposes.
I mean, if it's larger than yourself, if your why is larger than yourself, only then you will start making sacrifices, I think. Because if you're consumed by yourself, I think you will stop making sacrifices to become better. Do I make sense?
Elaborate.
What I mean is, if you want to give back to the community, you will do things that are necessary to do that, to achieve that. But if you don't want to do that, if you're consumed by you just want to fulfill your own needs and desires, you're not going to make big sacrifices in life.
Maybe not. I mean, narcissistic people would would disagree on that point, right?
They don't make sacrifices, do they?
I don't think so. But they still you still have a lot of successful narcissistic people.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not really sure. I don't have an answer to that.
No, I'm not talking about success. I'm talking about sacrifices for the betterment of others. And that could be a bigger purpose than just living a good life for yourself.
I think both are valid.
Okay.
I think if people choose to live and just, take care of themselves, and maybe that's their ability in life.
Okay.
I can't hold any judgment, and I can't put myself on a pedestal where I feel like I'm better than them, because their choices is also valid.
True.
Maybe they're not able to handle more, and I just can't I can't unvalidate that for them.
No, I mean, I'm not saying one is better than the other.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying if in order to do those larger things than yourself, you need to make bigger sacrifices.
Yes, I think definitely you have to. Yeah.
So the next question I have is, what is that one mindset that entrepreneurs need to have in order to become successful in what they do?
Growth mindset.
Okay.
The growth mindset. What is the growth mindset? It is seeing limitless possibilities, finding creative solutions, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. That's a growth mindset, in short. Just making it happen.
Yeah.
And doing what it takes to get you to become that person. So what do I mean by that? For the past, I've been on a healing journey, growth mindset journey since 2019.
Okay.
But the growth mindset journey officially kick-started with intention. So before that, it was happening. But in a way, it was done in a subtle way that I wasn't even, I was doing it without being aware of it. But in around 2021, when I quit my job, that's when I did my life coaching. So I was intentional about that. Life coaching, you have to deal with things. You have to face certain fears. You have to find ways to solve them. You have to find ways to dance through the ordeals of life or the challenges of life, and find tools that work for you.
Right.
So you put the intention. So every person can find their growth mindset in different ways. Mine was through life coaching. Mine was through being healthy towards myself. So I had a functional nutritionist at one point to make sure I am healthy inside and out, literally, like my gut. I had a problem with my gut, and there's a big connection between your gut and mind. And a lot of people don't know about that. But once I healed my gut, I started performing better.
Okay.
So I was on supplements. I still do supplements to this day. I also had a health spiritual coach, Marie Amuni. She's based in Dubai, but she hops around a lot. Shout out to Marie as well. So my health spiritual coach also helped me in my health life, in my spiritual life. I also had a performance coach, Adele. She's now based in Portugal.
Okay.
Adele helped me optimize my performance. I used to lead a very unhealthy entrepreneurial life at the very beginning because I didn't know any better. So it wasn't like life came to me with a guidebook, So I used to work till 3, 4 a.m. I used to do that repeatedly. I used to get burnt out a lot. I used to feel at certain points really upset, really angry, not understanding my feelings. With Adele, I was able to create a clear structure for my work. I implemented cutoff times. I implemented healthy habits in the morning and the evening to help me. So I used to think, your mornings set the tone for the day, but it's quite not true. On contrary, your evenings set the tone for the day, because how you sleep the night before and what you do the night before is what sets the tone for the day.
Yeah, makes sense.
So we really fixed a lot of things. So this is an example of also investing in yourself. Just like you need to, because I am a personal brand, because I am running my own business at the end of the day, I do have my clients that are relying on me, my team that is relying on me. I have to show up in the best way possible for everyone.
True.
Because to me, at the end of the day, I want to give the best. Quality, excellence is my utmost priority. I cannot jeopardize that. So this is why I put all of those investments into myself, and I continue to do so. So these are some tips to help people, and everyone can find their own way. Again, they might not feel the need to hire a health coach, a spiritual coach, a functional coach, a performance coach. But granted, I did that in a span of like 3 years, you know. So
But that's too expensive as well.
what is expensive?
Hiring all these people.
I would argue that.
Okay.
I would argue that because a lot of people can spend their money on trips and can spend their, and it goes back to sacrifice. So what are you willing to sacrifice? Do you want that trip, or do you want long-term strength, stamina? So to me, this investment that I put into myself is building an unshakable person.
Okay.
And this to me is priceless. So I can't say it's expensive. And another thing I would say is it goes back to when I took my leap of faith and I left my job with no savings. I was promised to work with a client at the time. And from that budget, I was meant to inject it into my personal brand development coaching program.
Okay.
That client bailed on me last minute. So I had
Damn.
no savings.
And all the expenses.
And I had all the expenses. But I found ways to make it happen.
Right.
I worked on little gigs. Obviously I wasn't getting paid that much, but I was getting those little gigs. I was doing those little things. I was reaching out to people. Do you need work? Can I help? Can I do anything?
Right.
You know? My pride was out the window at that point. I needed the money. So when there's a will, there's a way. And that quote is not a cliche. It's true. So if someone wants to see a trip as, you know, lavish and fun and cool, but investing in themselves as expensive, there needs to be a question there.
Okay.
You know?
What if they don't do both of them?
What if they don't do both of them? I don't know. I'd have to meet that person and understand,
Okay.
you know? You know, at the end of the day, it also goes back to you not seeing your ability to make money. You have a limiting belief with money.
Right.
You have a problem with money, and I see that all the time. And it also goes back to not seeing your worth. Either not seeing your worth, or you're not putting the effort to build your
To become
brand
worthy.
asset.
Yeah. Makes sense.
No, we're all worthy. No, not. No,
I
we're
mean,
all worthy.
monetarily.
Monetary, sure, but
We all have different values monetarily.
Yes, but I mean, worth is always going to be there. So you're not. So when you see your worth, because we all have our worth, and we all have our God-given gifts and our talents.
Yeah.
But you just need to have that courage, or find that courage in you to build it. You know. So I can give a lot of examples of people that started with nothing.
Yeah.
And that's the case with a lot of people. Just go on YouTube, type success stories of people that started. No, you'll find a ton.
True.
It's not luck.
Yeah. No, of course.
It's hard work. It's putting in the effort. It's saying that even if I have that mindset, and even if my environment has that mindset, I'm going to go against the grain, and I'm going to see where that takes me. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So I think the way our environment and our community around us thinks can really be inflicting to how we create our decisions.
Yeah.
But you are capable of designing your life. To every no, or to every yes that you say, you're saying no to something else.
Yeah.
You know?
Makes sense.
When you say yes to chilling with friends all the time, you're saying no to your dreams. When you're saying yes to sleeping in every time, you're saying no to waking up, making yourself breakfast, setting a clear agenda and direction for the day. When you say yes to eating junk, you're saying no to longevity. When you're saying yes to, sleeping, napping, Netflix, you're saying no to the time that you can spend at the gym, spend reading, spend educating yourself, spend finding resources to build yourself or building your dreams. I'm not saying your life should completely be built on like this incredible, just super focused, hyper-focused, hyper-vigilant lifestyle, but that's why not a lot of people make it.
But I think you need to have that kind of hyper-focused lifestyle for a certain period of time until you make something in your life. You know, like when people start from nothing, if they're hyper-focused completely on that one thing, then only they become that level of successful. Isn't that true?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, because yes, you need to focus 100% on what you're doing. And it goes back to the conversation of the sacrifices that you need to make.
Yeah.
So you need to say no to a lot of different things in order for you to do it. No, because you also need to fill your cup. And there are other things that can support, perhaps, with that focus. So sleeping well, eating healthy, making sure you have cut-off hours, making sure you also invest in things that bring you joy. Because at the end of the day, if you're just working, and you're super hyper-focused, then it's gonna result in burnout. It's gonna result in sucking your soul. You know, you're not gonna find the joy, and you're just not gonna be happy, and you're just gonna be questioning the whole thing and why you started it. And perhaps that can lead someone to maybe jumping out and in back to corporate world. You know, so this is why I say yes and no. Yes, you need to be hyper-focused, but no, you don't need to be just hyper-focused on that one thing. You also need to make sure that you find ways to fill your cup. And it's important as well this is something that I fell in that trap myself, which is I stopped seeing people and friends for like 5-6 months when I started TRRN. And granted, that really helped me, but at the end of the day, is something I've been working on for the past 2 years, is finding friends and cultivating meaningful friendships.
Right.
Because friendships and having a good community, granted it needs to be the right people,
Of course.
is very important.
True.
So we shouldn't forget or eliminate other important aspects of our lives.
So you will not agree with what I've written there. Top left.
Till you're able to do burnouts. I mean, that's really good for working out. that's
No,
actually...
burnout is
I know.
drifting the cars.
Yeah.
So if you burn out till you do that, I believe in that.
Burnout till you do burnouts?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like,
What's your interpretation of that?
I've written that.
Okay, what does it mean?
So what I mean by that is you work hard as hard as possible till you're able to do burnouts. By that I mean to be able to, it's an analogy, but if you're able to get a super nice car that you can do burnouts with, that's a sign of success in a way. So that's an analogy I use there, that if you burn out till that period of time, you will be able to make burnouts with a super nice car.
That takes us into a whole different cycle. You just gave me your definition of success.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I believe that way.
Yeah.
I mean,
which is fair.
Of course, I don't hyper focus 24/7. Of course, I have my own time, but I'm saying what you were saying. If you're more carried away with Netflix and playing games and having fun time, then you're not able to give that much time to your dreams, and you will not be successful then. I'm not saying 24/7, 7 days a week. You just have to do this.
I understand. But to just tackle one thing at a time. First things first.
Yes.
We all have our different definition of success.
Agreed.
This dogmatic success definition doesn't work with Gen Z and millennials. At least not
For
late
sure.
millennials.
For sure.
You know, the people before used to see success as just one thing. If you have so much money, what is so much money? What is so much money? Really, what is so much money? Okay. So it was defined by having lots of money, having so much assets, property, house property, cars, blah, 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 blah. Boats, you call it, name it, clothes, whatever you want. But nowadays, people have more awareness. Okay? What I mean by that is we all have our different definitions of success. So I just wanted to tackle that at the very beginning. So your definition of success is, I want to keep working till I have that car and then do that burnouts in that car. You know? Some other person's definition can be very different.
Yeah, for sure.
My definition is becoming a philanthropist. My definition is being able to give back to community as much as possible.
That is one of my definition as well.
Yeah. So great. Amazing. So
thank you.
So there's that. The second part of it is I don't condone the extreme hustle culture. I condone the hustle culture that comes with awareness. That what I mean, my definition of the hustle culture is, as I just mentioned earlier, which is dedicating time to your craft, building your craft, your business, your brand, whatever it is, building yourself, because every level that you level up, it requires different you, and you need to be prepared to meet that version of yourself. And that comes with sacrifices. But not to the extent where you don't take care of yourself. And by yourself, I mean mental, physical, and spiritual self. Because if you hustle, and you don't have any spiritual practice, you're going to be lost. If you hustle, and you don't take care of your body, which is health is your number one priority, you're not gonna withstand the tide of time.
Yeah.
The same thing with your mental. You can't let it go. At the end of the day, there are bills that are due for us on a daily, monthly basis. So you have to take care of you so you can be able to serve and give and hustle.
Yeah,
and do your burnouts.
All right. This has been an interesting conversation with you. And I think if we keep going, we can have like a 3 to 4 hours conversation as well.
Yeah.
Because I think you're the first guest that we have some level of disagreement with. No, I mean, it's healthy. It's healthy.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really important as well, to have a civil dialogue between two different ideas as well.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will learn a lot of things with you from this podcast. Sorry. So yeah, interesting conversation all in all. And do you want to do an episode 2 for this?
Oh, we're ending with an episode 2. Dang. As long as you promise to post more reels. No. No.
No, yeah.
But you need to post more reels. So if you post more reels, consider me in. But no, really, Abdu, I want to say thank you for your amazing energy.
Thank you so much.
To Husain, Taher, and Husain. Other Husain, he's not with us right now, but like, thank you all for your amazing energy.
Thank you so much.
I feel very grateful and blessed to be here.
Our pleasure.
And I have to say this, I'm filled with joy to sit with someone like you, because you listen with open ears. And I just want to say this before we end this conversation. This is my definition of open-mindedness.
Nice.
Okay, which is open-mindedness to me is you can sit with someone, and no matter how different they are from you, in whatever way, you will still sit with sincerity and genuinity and compassion and listen to that person. And I thank you for your compassion today.
Most welcome.
And I also want to say one last thing to add.
Please.
Which is, on the contrary, I think we see eye to eye. I really do. I think we just, which is everybody, I feel like everyone is stranded in this world because we are, it's just the articulation. How we articulate ourselves can come off differently.
Yeah.
But we all want, I feel like deep down, we all want the same thing.
True.
So, and we all kind of come from a good ground, good place. Yeah. And that's really all that matters.
No, yeah, of course. I mean, 95% we agree and 5% there's some gray area. and yeah, I mean, I learned this from one of my really good friends, who was one of my mentors as well, to have this open mind and to not be fixated with your own ideas and think of it as the objective truth always. I mean, there are objective truths, but my opinion can be wrong as well. And I've learned a lot today.
That's beautiful. You're absolutely right. Me too. Me too. Yeah. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. you took out your time from a really busy schedule. It's
Thank
our
you so
pleasure.
much for your
It's our
time.
pleasure.
And we'll see you in episode 2.
Inshallah.
Yes.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
But you have the criteria that we will post more, then you will come, right?
Yes.
Please.
And maybe
get
it can
done.
be on your next milestone.
Yes.
So let's do
Silver
that.
Jubilee 25.
I have to, it has to be next milestone. So get to work. You gotta get to work, you guys. You have some work to do. Let's see how long that will take you.
Sure. Have a great night too.
Thank you. I'm gonna go some bachata right now. All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Adios.
Thank you so much.
See you.